All right, guys, this one's for the gearheads, the nerds, the folks who don't quite have $10,000 to spend on a modular hardware synth. This one is for you and everyone else who's interested. So today I'm coming at you with the KarmaFX Synth Modular 2. This synth is absolutely insane. It's got advanced simulated analog modular synthesis, which I dare you to say 10 times fast, but basically it emulates how an analog modular synth works and gives you the same capabilities as you would in a normal modular synth, but done obviously digitally. You're doing it in your DAW. And so I love how much flexibility this plugin gives you. You can create like any sound, you can do really crazy stuff. It's got so many features, and I'm not going to be able to go over all of them. If you need a full tutorial, there are plenty of other videos on YouTube, on KarmaFX's website, all of that. But today I just wanted to show you some of the capabilities, some of the sounds, and go through creating a sound of our own by creating a patch with the modular synthesis. So let's get started. I'm going to play some of the presets so that you can hear how it sounds, and then we'll go through a few of the features and build our own modular patch. All right, so as you can hear, there's the ability to create pretty much any sound. You can modulate to your heart's content. You can create effect sounds, pads, basses, leads, drums even. You heard all those percussion sounds. You can do so much with this, and you can even bring in your own samples and modulate those. I've never seen such a plugin where you can do so many things, and pretty much anything that you want to do, you can make it happen in here. So it really has that energy from those hardware modular synths that this is based on, where you really can do anything you like, but it's a heck of a lot easier than having to plug everything in with wires and all of that. And it gives you even more benefits because it takes the added bonus of being digital and bringing in different elements from digital production into this analog style synth. So really cool. Quickly, I'll go over just kind of how the layout is. You've got this great preset manager here, and it comes with several sound banks. These all come with it, as you can see. You can get some other ones as well, but you've got a ton of bass sounds, drums, leads, pads, and effects. Now, what's really cool, and I'll show you in a little bit, is that KarmaFX Synth Modular 2 also comes with a separate plugin included for free. That is just the effects plugin. And so we can open these effects in the effects plugin and have them affect any sort of sound that you want to throw on the track. So whether it's a sample or another instrument or whatever it is. So you can do a whole lot with that as well and create these awesome modular effects that are really hard to create otherwise. So I'll show you that in a little bit. But so you've got this preset manager, and then you've got kind of just this global manager here. You can set some macros. You can see that if I move this, it's affecting this cutoff, possibly something else too, I'm not sure, but yeah, you can have this assigned to different things, and you've got a lot of different banks. Basically, these are, 8 controls times 4, so 32. You can affect the global volume and then control, your sound banks and all these different things. So that's really easy to understand. Where we get into the fun part is moving around everything and creating your special, unique flow. And I think the best way to show you how to do that is to create one ourselves from scratch. So let's get going with that. All right, so as you can see, I've gone and deleted every single module from this patch, and no sound is going to come out when I play the keyboard. That's because we've got nothing except an output and nothing going to the output. So this is where it does require some knowledge about signal flow and what each element does. So if you don't have strong knowledge with that, that's okay, because look at all these presets. You can start from a preset and then start tweaking and kind of learn it as you go. They also have a really detailed manual, which helps as well. It's always a good idea to read the manual for your plugins. But anyway, I'm going to create a pretty simple patch just to show you the basic workflow and how you can create something. But again, you're always welcome to take a preset and use it, or tweak it and modify it however you like. So if we want a sound to come to this output, we need to add a generator of some kind. So you right click, it gives you all these options, and you could even throw a patch in there, a full patch, and start messing around that way. But we can start with a generator here. We've got an oscillator. A generator is just, whatever is making your sound. We can make a sampler. That's where you can load a sample and have that be your sound generator, which is pretty cool. Gives you a ton of different abilities, because now you can take in your own sounds from other places or whatever. But yeah, we can start with a generator, simple saw wave or whatever we want to do here. But obviously, we still have a long ways to go before we're going to hear sounds. So the next thing I'm going to do is throw on a filter. Let's do an acid filter. You can always change that by clicking here, which I just did by accident. And what we're going to do is route the generator to the filter. The way you do that is right click, make the generator the input. Now we have this nice blue line going to it. And then let's put in an amplifier, which is what gives it volume, amplitude. And we'll have the filter. So this is going in series. You're going from the generator, which is going to the filter, which is going to the amplifier. Again, this is modular. You can create your own series as long as it ends up creating a sound in the end. There's some parameters you have to follow for that to happen, but this is all modifiable, and you saw from all the presets, they all look very different. So you can create your own flow. I'm just making a very simple one here. So next we're going to throw on a controller which controls the note pitch, which we need to show the pitch, and we're going to have the input be that amplifier that we just had here. And then this isn't necessary, but we can put on an effect. Let's put some reverb on there. So we'll throw that guy here, and let's have the controller go into the reverb. And now let's have the let's have the reverb go into the output. Oh, now we've got something happening here. So we've got sound. That's a good sign. But I'd like to add some more controls. And so what I'm going to do is add a modulator, which will be an ADSR envelope. And so those of you familiar with sound design probably know what an ADSR envelope is. There's different kinds of envelopes and all sorts of things you can include here as well. But let's do an ADSR envelope. We can adjust the attack, decay, sustain, and release. But we're going to, as you're probably familiar with other plugins, we're going to right-click the actual parameter we want it to control, which in this case, we're going to start with the amplitude, so we want the volume or the amplitude of the sound to change over time based on the envelope we're going to create here. So we would like the modulator to control that. And you'll see, because we're attaching it to a specific parameter, it's going to be a yellow arrow. So that is a modulator rather than the actual signal flow, which is blue. And so just for the ease, we could use this. We could use another ADSR. We could use an LFO. We could use a different type of modulator. But just to make it simple, let's do the same thing and have it also affect the cutoff. But first, let's hear how it sounds without doing that. So yeah, you can hear that when we adjust the attack, totally changes the sound. So it's working as we expect it to. So let's add that also to the cutoff. So we can hear that it is also now affecting the cutoff of the filter, which is pretty cool. All right, but this is kind of boring. It's just a basic saw wave. So I'm thinking maybe let's add in another generator. Let's add a second oscillator here. And we will have that also go directly into the filter. Doesn't sound great because it's the exact same. Let's detune this. So what's cool with this generator 2 or oscillator 2 is that it actually can throw in 2 different wave shapes and you can mix them together like this. So we've got our sound. As you saw here, we can add all sorts of different modules. We have different types of generators, noises, all sorts of things. That's how you create those really crazy sounds like the percussion and the effects and all of that. We've got all kinds of different filters that we could create. Let's see how it sounds with a different filter. So, you know, different filters sound different. We can throw in amplifiers, we can affect the mid side of it, we can control the frequency and unison and the number of voices and all that sort of thing. We can add tons of different effects, distortion, phaser, limiter, all those sort of things. And as far as modulators, we can have it modulate using a MIDI trigger, we can do a step sequencer, we can do a shaper, all sorts of different stuff. So pretty much you can adjust to your heart's content. We can change how things look, we can minimize things, and so it really is just a full empty playground for you to play with. Now what I want to show you is using KarmaFX Synth Modular 2, but the effects plugin, so that we can create just a cool effects chain with a totally different sound. All right, so you'll see here I have our imperfect 1.6 synth out, which now lets you do this, which is really cool. So anyway, not to get off track, we have this, and I loaded up a sound. All right, so now I've also got it running through our KarmaFX Synth effects. So let's take a look at some of the effect presets that it has. I mean, that's just crazy. Did you hear how different all of those sounded and how incredibly unique all the sounds were? I mean, you can throw this effect plugin onto anything and just create something completely different. You can record your voice, you can record you hitting something, you can record you playing something, you can record another synth. You can do so many things and throw it into the synth effects and just create something totally different. That's where the best things come from, is something totally unique that no one else can create, no one else can have, no one is making that same combination of sounds. That's what creates the most interesting sound design and the most interesting music. And so even if your knowledge is kind of limited about modular synthesis, about hardware synths, all of that, as you can see, it's pretty simple once you understand the basic signal flow. You can create something quite fast, or take these amazing effects and patches and just use them as they are, or tweak them in little pieces. And so I think this is a great tool for anybody's arsenal, someone who really likes to get deep into sound design and someone who likes to have unique sounds in their productions, which I think most people do. So go get it now. It's now on waproduction.com on our store. You can go get it now, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. So go have fun with it.